Slightly different function operations practice here, just because our functions are not equations like we're used to. They are just these sets of points, okay? So if you graphed this, like if you graphed f of x, you would just have 4 dots on your graph. That's what we're talking about, okay? So what is the domain for f of x? What do you think, guys? What'd you say?
Or the other one.
The other one. You just told me the range. Yes.
34, yeah.
Exactly. It's just the list of points here. -2, 1, 3, 4. And then probably already told me the range. 1, 0, 2, 7. It is not every number from -2 to 4. It is only those specific values. I do not care if they're in order. Don't repeat values if they happen to show up more than once in the range. So what about g of x? What's your domain? Yeah,
-2, 5, 4, 0.
good.
Oh, would that have to be in order?
Nope, I don't care. What about range? Sure, go ahead.
3, 1, -2 to 4.
There you go. All right, so far pretty easy, right? Just tell me the x's, tell me the y's. Okay, when you do your operations with functions like this, so the first one, it says f plus g of x. What you have to do is find coordinates where the x's match up, and then you can actually do the operation on the y's. So my first point for f of x, I see an x value of -2. Is there a -2 for the x value in g of x? Yes. Okay, so that means I'm actually going to have a point with an x value of -2. And what do you think the y value is going to be?
6.
What did you say, Asher? Well, what is the operation that we're doing here? Addition. So what are the two y values? 1 and 3. We're adding. We can do 1 plus 3, right? 4. Okay. And that's the first point in this function operation. Okay, so then I go to my next x value in f of x. I see a 1. Is there a 1 in the second? No, no x value of 1, so that one's out. Okay. Next one's 3. Do I have a 3? No, so I'm not going to use that guy. What about 4? Yes, I see a 4. Okay, what's my y value going to be? 5. Okay. We're not going to write the domain and range every single time because it's pretty redundant, and I think you can do it, so that's not a big deal. All right, are we okay with f plus g? So f minus g, I'm going to have the same x's, right? Those are the only two that match up, so that's what I'm going to have for f minus g. But I have to do the first function's y value minus the second function's y value. So -2 is going to go with -2. What about 4? What's that going to go with? 9. You with me? Okay. Multiplication, exact same thing. You have to have matching domains to do this. So I start with -2. What's the y value going to be? 3. 4. What's the y value going to be? Good. Okay. Division, exact same idea. You put the f function over the g function because that's how it's listed. You would go in whatever order it is listed. What's the only thing we might need to worry about with division?
0.
Yeah, so if you happen to have, you know, a 1 over 0, something over 0 for that g function, that one just doesn't exist when you do the operation, okay? this out. -2, what's the y value going to be? 1/3. And then 4, what's that going to be? -7/2, right? Okay. The last two are a little different. I want to make sure we're okay with just the operation part first. Once you see it, it's pretty easy, right? Okay. Composition, slightly different. Get rid of those. Do this up here so you can see it better what I'm looking at. So the first one says f of g of x. Okay. So we're going to plug our g of x into our f of x. So that means I'm starting with g. Okay, so I'm going to start with this guy. A -2 as an x gives me a 3 as a y, right? Is there then an input of 3 in the other function?
Yes.
Yes, right here, right? What does that give me as an output? 2. So my first point here is -2, 2. You see it? Let's do it again. So I'm going to go to the next point. So 5 gives me 1. Does 1 give me something? Yeah, what does 1 give me? 0. So what's my point? 5, 0. Good. Okay. You want me to go through that again?
Well, I'm kind of confused. Why is like G then?
Because it says f of g of x. When we do g of f of x, it'll go the other way.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like we're working outside in. We're figuring out like let's say I had, we'll make it simple. I don't know, something like that. If I said find f of g of 2, where would you first plug the 2 in?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then you get an output, and then you plug that into f, and then you get your final output. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, it is. Okay, so the next one, 4 gives me -2. Does -2 give me something? Yeah, so what's my answer? 4, 1. So you kind of are like, all right, those are overlapped, but not using those. So 4, 1. All right, 0 gives me 4. 4 gives me 5, 0, 7. Okay. That's f of g of x. G of f of x is going to go the other way. Let's try again. So where am I starting this time? The f of x. Okay, -2 gives me 1. Does 1 give me anything? Okay, but that's the output already. So is there an x value that's 1? No. So I just don't get to use this one. 1 gives me 0. 0 gives me, okay, so I've got the point 1, 4. Okay, all right, 3 gives me 2. Is there a 2? Oh, so that's nothing. 4 gives me 7. Nothing. So you only have the 1 point for that one. Does that make sense? Okay. It's the same problems repeated at the bottom of your worksheet, so don't try to do it again. You'll be doing the same numbers over again. Are we okay with that? Okay. We don't need to practice it more, right? Okay. Questions before we get to your fake quiz?